When I reached out to you, I was just coming into summer and I had this horrible realization that none of my summer clothes from the previous year fit. And particularly, there were a pair of blue shorts that I loved. And they just wouldn't even go past my thighs. So that was devastating for about 5 minutes. And I just had to pull myself together. And 12 weeks later, they slip right on. And so not only do I feel amazing on the inside, but I know that I look really good too. So I was motivated to look for an accountability coach because I really needed the support. I was at a point in my life where I felt like I was supporting everyone around me, and all of the self-check-ins and self-care that I used to do had just fallen by the wayside. So I needed a reboot, and I knew that I would succeed more with the support of someone I trust. I was in a really bad habit of working late and eating and drinking out at restaurants with my coworkers as my reward for working so hard. And I was really only exercising when it felt convenient. So now exercise and eating, as in meal prep, for example, is my first priority, and everything comes after that. So it's easier for me this way to say no to unhealthy foods and alcohol because I know how it makes my body feel the next day, and I know how it'll affect my workouts, which have become really important to me. So I've gained a lot of confidence in my newfound physical strength, and then therefore my mental strength, because I'm able to push through those barriers. So I feel generally more upbeat. I have a lot more energy, and I really, really look forward to my workouts and my delicious food that I make at home. So it is scary to be held accountable, but I knew that once I made the commitment, there was no turning back, and I had to follow through with what I said I wanted for my life. And so I knew that there would be no more room for excuses because I had someone to kind of check me and keep it real. I think the difference between working with Rosie and working with other coaches that I've seen in the past is that she really knows how to keep it real. And although she lays out great guidelines for a healthy lifestyle, she also understands that there needs to be some flexibility. And I think for me, someone who was working a full-time job and feeling really stressed and stretched, it was really down to earth to have her as a coach and a guide throughout the whole process of becoming more fit and healthy. So far, the best part of my experience has been my weekly check-in calls with Rosie. Having that FaceTime with her has been so validating in a way that you just can't replicate. She asked me to reflect on the past week, what went well, what didn't go so well. And that reflection is really healthy for my self-awareness and my growth. So I always leave the call feeling lighter and really proud of my progress to date. I don't hide anything because there's no point. So when she asks me, what didn't go so well, I remember in the beginning I was like, oh, don't say it, don't admit. But, it felt really good to talk about, and she made it feel like it was no big deal. And all of my reservations were just kind of by the wayside. So it made me feel so good hanging up the phone. In addition to the weekly check-in calls, she was also in touch daily. And it was so nice to get the messages in the morning and sometimes in the afternoon to double check about my lunch. And it was just nice to have a real person on the other end of those messages. And I think because of that, there's a real feeling of accountability. If there's anyone out there that is wondering, should I, shouldn't I? All I can say is do it. Anyone who's looking to create a holistic life and just needs a little bit of support would benefit greatly from Rosie's guidance.